Well, somehow, someway, it is the last Friday in June. It's June 26, 2020, here at Cord Cutting Today, and my name is Philip Palermo. If you're new here, this is where we wrap up all the biggest streaming and cord cutting headlines from the past week. So today, we're going to take a look at Amazon's interest in live TV programming, some resurfaced Google and Roku rumors, Apple TV and TV Plus announcements from this week's WWDC keynote event, and more. And as always, for all the stories we're about to jump into, we have links to those stories in our video description down below. And don't forget, we have a new and improved news website, cordcuttersnews.com. And I think that covers most of the formalities, so let's get into the news, shall we? First up, this week we reported on Amazon potentially exploring live linear TV content for its Prime Video service. Now, this all stems from job listings the company put out, which mentioned a Prime Video linear TV team and more anonymous sources speaking with Protocol about Amazon actively pursuing the addition of live programming to its service. Now, we've reported about the potential for Prime Video live TV in the past, and the company has certainly dabbled in live content on a limited basis, like its Thursday Night Football streams. But it looks like Amazon's interested in having 24/7 live TV feeds in addition to its one-off special event programming, though there's no word yet on specific partners or channels that could be involved. And at the moment, that's where things still stand, with no official word from Amazon about any big live TV announcements just yet. But we'll definitely keep a close eye on this one. But what about you viewers out there? Would you be interested in live TV packages from Prime Video? What if that means paying for an add-on? Let us know in the comment section down below. Speaking of rumors, we also took a look at another rumor that flares up from time to time, and that's whether Google is interested in buying Roku. And that idea isn't exactly new, but for some reason the notion gained traction this week. And indeed, Roku shares saw a jump when rumors started swirling, but as far as we've seen, Google, or rather its parent company Alphabet, hasn't actually expressed any interest in buying Roku. And for its part, Roku hasn't commented on actually being open to acquisition. Google already has some significant stakes in the cord-cutting ground with its YouTube TV and Chromecast lines, but adding Roku would of course be a significant move if it ever happened. For now though, the notion of Google buying Roku remains in the realm of technically possible, but unlikely. Of course, if anything at all changes on that front, we will for sure let you know. Moving on, Apple kicked off its Worldwide Developers Conference this week by highlighting some key new features for its various platforms and operating systems. And while we didn't see the much rumored next-gen Apple TV, the company did share a few updates for its tvOS, the software that powers Apple TV devices. Among the features coming to tvOS 14, as it's known, are platform-wide picture-in-picture, so you can, say, keep up with the news while playing a game or following along on a fitness video. There's also HomeKit integration, so you can view video feeds from compatible security cameras and doorbell cams. On the gaming front, it'll be a lot easier for multiple users to enjoy Apple TVs as game consoles. Soon, different users can log into their own Apple Arcade accounts and continue progress right where they left off. Controller support is also expanding to include the Xbox Elite 2 controller and the adaptive controller, which is a very cool option for those who can't enjoy games via standard game controllers. Also on tap, though it wasn't mentioned in the keynote itself, is 4K support for YouTube on Apple TV 4K. Of course, the device itself has supported 4K streaming since its launch. I mean, it's right there in the name after all. But users couldn't stream 4K video off of YouTube. Well, that's apparently going to change when tvOS 14 launches at some point this fall. And who knows, maybe we'll see that next-gen Apple TV a little closer to tvOS 14's launch date. And in the meantime, any Apple TV users out there looking forward to tvOS 14's upgrades? Let us know in the comments below. Meanwhile, Apple also shared some news on its Apple TV Plus streaming service, including a first look at Foundation, an adaptation of the classic series from sci-fi author Isaac Asimov. It stars Jared Harris, Lee Pace, and more, and it's set to premiere on Apple TV Plus at some point in 2021. And the company also announced that the app will soon be available on Vizio and Sony smart TVs later this year. Now, they didn't share exact models or availability dates, but we'll be sure to update you when we hear more. And Apple TV Plus isn't the only streaming service announcing more platform support. Peacock, which is prepping for its July 15th debut, says it's launching on several platforms, including Google devices like Android phones, Chromecast, and Android TV. The service is also launching on Apple devices, Vizio and LG Smart TVs, and Microsoft Xbox. And we'll likely see even more platform announcements as we inch closer and closer to the service's July 15th launch. To recap, Peacock will launch with a free tier as well as Peacock Premium for $4.99 per month, and there's also an ad-free option. And while we wait, what's the mood like out there? Are you looking forward to adding Peacock to your streaming staple? Let us know in the comments below. In other streaming news, fuboTV and Disney Media Networks announced an agreement this week that will bring Disney's channels to the streaming service later this summer. On Fubo's standard package, here is a list of channels that are coming, and it looks like more channels and options will be available for Fubo's other packages as well. At the moment, there's no word yet on potential price hikes, but it seems likely given the number of high-profile channels involved. And Fubo says these channels will be added this summer, which is a fairly wide window, but we'll keep you updated when we hear of more solid release dates. But while we wait, if you've been curious about Fubo TV, does the addition of Disney's programming have you more inclined to check it out? And if not, what are you hoping to see on the service next? You know where to let us know. And it looks like Netflix is giving subscribers some new options for customizing their personalized home screens. A new feature on the Netflix app allows you to remove titles from your continue watching list, something that used to require logging into your account via an internet browser. Now, if you're curious why this feature might be handy, well, let's say you give a new show or movie a shot but end up jumping ship before you ever finish it. Well, the removal option gives you the opportunity to declutter your continue watching list and kick out those titles if you have no intention of ever actually finishing them. And the feature was added to the Android app recently, and iOS subscribers will see the update on June 29th. So now it'll be a little easier to keep your Netflix home screens a little more organized and full of more stuff you actually want to watch. Next up, the Roku channel has added a few more options to its lineup. Last week, we reported on some new additions care of Blue Ant Media, and this week the service is adding a few sports and esports related channels to its stable. Adventure Sports Network is a channel focused on, adventure sports and the outdoor lifestyle. ESTV touts itself as an esports channel for gamers by gamers and offers continuous coverage of various esports personalities and gaming franchises. And lastly, SportsGrid is a 24-hour sports betting network including data, stats, and analysis. And as with last week's editions, these are free content options and you can check them out via the Roku channel. And finally, we continue to follow movie theater chains, especially as various reopening plans look to kickstart a summer movie season amid an ongoing coronavirus pandemic. And while those plans continue to evolve, it looks like AMC is sticking to its guns regarding its decision to ban NBC Universal films from its locations. If you haven't been following this story, well, NBC Universal's Trolls World Tour was meant as a theatrical premiere, but was released via home streaming as the pandemic forced movie theaters to close. And the company has expressed enthusiasm and excitement over the film's financial performance via streaming and said they'd be open to exploring streaming for future premieres. Well, AMC took issue with that, saying the standard movie theater exclusive window needs to be maintained and vowed not to screen future NBC Universal titles. And for reference, those future titles include likely blockbusters like Furious 9 and Jurassic World Dominion. And in an interview earlier this month, AMC's Adam Aron says his stance really hasn't changed since then, although both sides are still apparently discussing the matter and trying to work towards some sort of agreement. NBC Universal said it still aims to premiere films in theaters, but also wants to consider online streaming distribution as an option if it makes sense for a particular film. In any case, with so much potential money involved, it's highly likely we haven't heard the last on this issue, so we'll continue monitoring and keep you up to date. And that wraps up a pretty busy week here at Cord Cutting Today. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to check out our recently redesigned website, cordcuttersnews.com, for all the latest streaming and cord cutting news. And of course, please do consider clicking those nice like and subscribe buttons down below, and also maybe that bell icon. It comes in handy as well since it alerts you to whenever we post new content to this channel. And after last week's test, it looks like timestamps were a big hit and pretty well received, so hopefully I remember to add them to today's video. We shall see. For now though, as always, my name is Philip Palermo. Thanks so much for watching and have a wonderful and safe weekend. Take care.